So Wayfinder announced they're gonna be having a new mode called Nightmare Mode. Now I'm guessing that this mode is gonna be New Game Plus with maybe co-op. I think they said that co-op is a maybe. But if it do have co-op, it'll be amazing. Maybe they could just have every player split characters, like, you know, you choose 3, I choose 3, until we use all the characters. But anyway, I'm gonna be helping y'all get ready for Nightmare Mode with some builds. Starting off with my boy Wingrave. Now my Wingrave build, I actually believe is one of the best builds in the game. I know I've seen a few builds similar, but not exact. Let's get straight into it. First things first, the echoes. Now what I went for is a high ability power, and then mostly physical defense, magical defense, health, and resilience. Everything else that seems to be a little bit high just comes from stats that was added on to the stat that I wanted most. But yeah, and I'm gonna get into why in a second. For the boss echo, I had to go with this just for the survivability, because if you play on heroic, these bosses hit. So I needed some survivability. For the other boss echo, this is just that last bit of, you know, a little bit of healing. The lifeline comes in handy in case things start to go wrong, because in Nightmare Mode, apparently you only got 1 life. So if your Wayfinder die, he's gone for good. So, you know, if things start getting sticky, this is going to be that lifesaver that just save your life at the end. So the plan was to make him tanky. My bad, this pizza tastes good. The plan was to make him tanky, as well as be able to do some damage on his ability power. I also went with the Tooth and Claw, because the ability on the Tooth and Claw just hits like a truck. I don't know why it hits so hard. And then for the accessories, well, we could read it here, right? Yeah, I went for the max health, went for the resilience, then ability power, magical defense, and physical defense, as I was saying. Make them more tanky with the max health and resilience, and then I got the magic defense, physical defense on that, and some ability power. Now let's get into the actual build. So if you play in Wingrave, I don't know if many people know this, but every time he finishes a combo, it resets his righteous strike. So using a melee finisher resets your righteous strike, which gives you a huge amount of uptime on the ability, because it continuously resets it. And uptime is very important when you're doing ability power builds. And then I maxed it out because, one, I wanted the damage reduction and I wanted the increased damage and healing. And also it replenishes some resilience, which is huge. Keep that in mind, because resilience basically gives you a little bit of extra armor. If you can see that yellow bar, a little bit of extra armor anytime you get hit. Almost like a damage reduction, but if you lose it, you'll take almost increased damage. So you want to keep that damage reduction on that resilience up. So I feel like having this ability 3-star is just a must if you're going to be playing Wingrave. Then also, I got this one just for the extra bit of healing at the bottom. As you can see, slowly heals all allies standing behind the shield. And then I got 1 point into the ult just to extend the duration, just for that extra little bit of time to be able to dish out as much damage as possible without worrying about the healing too much. If you're fighting one of those strong bosses, like maybe the Greed Lord or somebody like that. Now let's get into the meat of the build, what really matters. So firstly, I went for this, because you heal every time you use an ability, every time you use a Wayfinder ability. And remember, I constantly reset my ability, so this is just a double heal, so to speak, a double heal. Also, both my abilities and this heals my allies, making him not only a beast for single player, almost a god tier for multiplayer. For the next node, I went for this just because If I use the ult, you know, we want to just dish out damage, and it gives all my allies bonus stats equal to 5% of my ability power. And since I'm on ability power focused build, it's just an extra bit of damage for me and my team, which is again making him great for as a support as well as a single player damage dealer / tank. I went for this one. Anytime you hit an enemy with a weapon attack, you gain a stack of mindful. I don't ever stack this up too high because I'm using my ability so much, but it's just an extra bit of damage that I'll take from the 2 hits before I pop my ability. And then the weapon abilities, because like I said, that weapon ability don't make sense. It's probably one of the strongest weapon abilities in the game. I still got to do some testing on the rest of them, but Tooth and Claw don't make sense. And then this is just to keep the heals consistent, so I don't ever get staggered. I could just keep attacking, and keep healing, and keep my team alive as well as myself. And then for the affinity, very important to go full yellow. I never really cared too much about the additional stats gained. I always focused on the perks more, which is like the weapon ability and the perks is what matters most to me. But if you did want to look for something that gave you the stats you wanted to be more tanky, because for example, I don't need crit power at all, or weapon power for that. But if you did want to just make it stack out health or something, there would be some better sword and shield options, but this one works for me. So I went 25 instinct, 7 discipline, 5 focus, and the reason for that is this. So firstly, I get the increased healing on the pulse, which makes the healing even better. And then it also heals me over time, so in case I mess up, which is rare, it's really easy, but you get some increased healing over time, just making them that much harder to kill. And then this melee finishes again. Remember what I told y'all, every time you melee finisher, you get a reset. But doing a melee finisher will also send out an extra healing pulse. So the healing is now just, at this point, I'm over healing. There's no need to heal this much. But I'm going to tell you why I went this route. And then for this restores the guard break meter recipient by 10%. Again, his ability also restores guard break. Well, see right here it says resilience, but resilience and guard break is the same thing. I guess they went through some name changes down the line, but it's the same thing, resilience and guard break. But they're both increasing it. So my little yellow bar gets increased whenever I use a healing pulse twice, as well as all the heals. And then this just makes me a little bit more tanky, because this is just a, damage reduction pretty much. And that's a 10% damage reduction, so I just take 10% less damage on top of all the healing. Anyway, this build is probably one of the safest builds in the game. Now, on Nightmare mode, because I'm playing on Heroic, I'm not going to show off every character in Heroic, because I am going to show a build for every character, but for the ones who can consistently complete Heroic, I'll do Heroic. But for Wingrave, he can play on Heroic, and I'm not even max stars with none of my characters, because I want to show off the build more than the strength. Philo will be the highest at 3, but he's only 1. So these stats will just make him more tanky and do more damage, and you'll have more slots to upgrade. And from here, you'll just get stronger, right? So you got the base build down pat, but as you play around with your echoes and level them up, you're just getting stronger. But this build is, like I said, the safest build in Wayfinder in the entire game. And the reason why I went for all that healing stuff, and I keep telling you about this reset, is if you do one light attack and then go into a hold heavy attack, that counts as a combo ender. So you do ability, light attack, full heavy, combo ender, ability, light attack, full heavy, combo ender, and you'll be constantly healing, and that's how you keep his constant uptime. And it just makes him super, super strong, because you're constantly doing ability, and like I said, that's why I went primary focus into ability power. You're constantly healing, and you're constantly healing your team, and it just makes him crazy. So I'm gonna get into a hunt. I guess I'll show off one of the new hunts, and then you guys will get to see it in action. Now, like, I am underpowered for these new hunts. The Renegade. As you can see, them healing numbers is actually crazy. You can still avoid attacks if you want, but in most cases, you could just stand there and take the hit and heal more than they do damage, as well as keeping your guard break meter up. You know what I mean? And then I told you about this weapon ability here that just doesn't make sense. It just hits. And these are some of the toughest bosses in the game, on the toughest difficulty in the game. And it's just a safe route to go because like I said, I'm under power level. I'm not supposed to be fighting this boss yet. I'm supposed to have my stars and some more upgrades on my echoes before getting into this. But as you can see, I'm still doing really well against it. So as I level up and increase my strength and increase my Wayfinder star rank, it'll just become easier from there. And of course, you can pop potions for more damage resistance or more ability power, or both, and just make it even easier and even safer to play. But like I said, I'm fighting one of the end game bosses, and not even with an end game rank, not even with an end game power level, and still can consistently beat them with little to no struggle. See, when things get like that, that's when that ult comes in. This is what makes him so safe. It's just the character's just all around a safe stick. Not to mention, like I said, in multiplayer, all of these heals that I'm getting, my DPSs or whoever else I'm playing with will be receiving every bit of it. And we both will be healing, which means I could keep a DPS in the back line because he do have a taunt. Man. I wish his taunt lasted a little longer, but it is a taunt, and you'll be able to let your DPS just deal damage as you keep the boss taunted. If it lasted a little longer, it probably will be, you know, more effective. I feel like his taunt isn't as effective as Silo's. I feel like Silo may have the best taunt in the game. It's strange, because I mean, Cinder or Wingrave should have it, but it's just, he's still all around a great character. Look at that damage on that. This dude is crazy. Just taking his hits, no fear, safe fit. Dodge that. Keep going. And then if I just wanted to really be safe, this is where me and my DPSs would just come in and just constantly deal damage and finish the job. Let's see what I get. I know y'all want to see it. I won't hide it from you. So, that was Life Knight Wingrave. That's what I call him. Wait, let me do that over. Life Knight Wingrave. Anyway, yeah. So, as you leveling up and as you getting them stronger, getting more stars on them, and leveling up the echoes, your primary focus should be to make him as tanky as possible. If you could get physical defense, magical defense to 10k, and maybe the max health to, you know, around 5, or resilience around 5 if that's possible, and then get the ability power around 10 or as high as possible, he should be almost unkillable against any boss. On top of the 15% stats that he's getting from each rank, and of course leveling up the weapon and getting more stuff on that, it's just, he will be probably the safest, no, 100% the safest Wayfinder in the game. So again, that was Life Knight Wingrave, and if I had to give him a rating, which I'll be rating all of them, but for the first build that I came up with, if I had to give him a rating, he will be S tier, 100% for Nightmare mode. In the Nightmare mode with a team, he'll be the only Wayfinder that reaches God tier, because put some DPSs beside him and you keeping him healed up, yeah, God tier all the way. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next one. I will be showing off Kairos. We'll get into him next. Have a good one.